Hey mentors, and welcome to our Ed 3110 Building and Enhancing New Literacies Across the Curriculum session. For today, we will be discussing about the second part of our your Unit 2, which is teaching strategies for the development of literacy skills and teaching resources. And we are into vocabulary strategies that work, which is under Unit 2 of our module. Vocabulary is one of the five critical skills for younger readers, and as work knowledge, it is one of the three areas of word study. As a teacher, your pupils will benefit from a class that includes vocabulary and teaches new words efficiently. Remember that in comprehension, vocabulary skills is one of its requirements. The phonemic awareness, the phonics and word study, the fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. These are five critical skills for younger readers. And as literacy skills teacher in the elementary, we need to know these five critical skills, and one of which is vocabulary. The teachers must teach new words efficiently, and some of the following ideas are strategies for presenting vocabulary, and some are simply activities that focus on words for pupils to learn. In the reading pyramid, we start with the phonemic awareness, the phonics or decoding, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. But today, in this session for Ed 3110, we will be focusing on the improvement and development of literacy skills, particularly vocabulary. What are the different vocabulary strategies that as elementary teachers can use? One is picture clues. This strategy is aimed mostly at younger learners but could be adapted for older pupils as well. The teacher arranges a book or poster that includes target words and picture they describe. Remember that students are or they can learn best when they can see visuals, and it will be an aid for them on recognizing words. So for example, a picture may show two triangles with the sentence, I see two triangles underneath. Meaning, they can improve their reading skills at the beginning stage if the words that they can recognize is a long or there is a pictorial counterpart. The goal here is for the students to build the sentence word by word. Through the pictures, they can form sentence word by word. And if they have problems, use the image to give a clue for the reading for beginning readers. In theory, it works in the same way as reading for context clues, and a skilled teacher can actually build an entire lesson around this activity. Here is an example of how students can code or can recognize words through picture clues. Like for example, in recognizing that those are the pin, the hand, the top, the tree, and hat. Through the pictures, they can recognize the words. Another example or activity that teacher can use. That is why one of the outcomes of this particular unit is the production of teaching resources used in beginning reading phase. In most cases, this works well if the student lacks strong skills in word recognition or word analysis, then the image gives them a small boost. Unfortunately, it can lead to situations where pupils don't read the word and instead simply say the picture that they see because they can recognize the words because of the pictures, and eventually they can master these encountered words later. And the student who reads the sentence described earlier might read as far as I see the try. Now look the picture and say triangles without continuing with the printed word. Well, this is not always a problem. It does not mean that the pupil uses the picture as a shortcut instead of a clue. The second strategy is configuration. If you as a teacher trains a student to watch the shape, patterns, and outline of words as a reminder of its meaning, the student is learning configuration. We are not, the second strategy is not on picture, but on shapes, patterns, and outlines of the letters or the words. You may ask pupils to decorate words, outline them, or underline patterns in the letters. If the shape of the word is similar to its meaning, pupils might draw the animal in that same pose. This technique has some relation to modern typography and the way letters are presented or designed. Example. Okay, so identifying the patterns or shapes with the words inside the box. They can recognize and learning the different patterns, the designs, and the shapes. That is the second strategy for vocabulary skills, which is configuration. Another example for word shapes and super jumble challenge. As you might imagine, there are some downsides to this particular technique. First and foremost, research suggests the outline or shape of a word has very little influence on how a pupil learns to read a word. The first letter has a more powerful effect. The other criticism is similar to the discussion of the sight words of Dolch. Using the shape or design of a word to remember its meaning is not reading. It's memorization. Well, there may be some artistic or educational value in decorating words because they can identify the shapes or the pattern or the outline, and it may help some pupils remember difficult words. The time spent to memorize one word by its shape or design could be better spent practicing the skills needed to read the word properly. The third is the use of context clues. What's that? Reading for context is common among new readers and is something that is most teachers encourage pupils to do as a way to improve their vocabulary. Instead of using the dictionary, then we can use how are these words used in the sentence. When a pupil encounters a new word, she guesses from its use in the sentence. And that is very common among new readers. This can be useful skill for pupils, but there are some criticisms. First, some research suggests it may take as many as 6 attempts for pupils to learn the meaning of a word through context clues. That is why that can be used in the higher stage for reading skills or for reading comprehension. That means if you encourage pupils to use context clues to learn words, you should not be surprised if they don't know the word that next time they see it. In fact, it may take a long time before the word sticks. So these are examples. So there are 5 types of context clues. We can get or we can understand difficult words or not familiar words through, it could be through definition clues. It could be through exemplifications or giving of examples or inference, synonym, or antonym. But there are different ways on how we can strategize on getting the meaning or guessing the meaning of the word and how it is used in the sentence. The fourth is structural analysis, and that is related to prefixes and suffixes. You may remember that structural analysis is part of the word analysis that we discussed in our previous session. Structural analysis teaches children to break apart words into phonic units or groups of letters and use those to build meaning for a word. In Recognizing words, they can analyze the structure of the words. Prefixes and suffixes, root words, advanced phonic groups, and Latin or Greek roots take priority in structural analysis. If the word does not have any clear or known system, the pupil reads the words syllable by syllable. In analyzing its structure, they by identifying if it's the prefix, again, they can identify the prefix, the suffix, the root words, or the advanced phonic groups. So that is an example, decoding words by looking at the root words and the affixes, such as the prefix or the suffix. The structural analysis is possibly more useful to upper elementary or junior high school pupils who have some experience reading and recognize the system that underlies some words. As a side note, structural analysis cannot stand by itself. If you use structural analysis to teach reading to your pupils in the elementary, try to combine it with phonics skills and context information. How about the fifth strategy, which is word association? We have this word and we will be associating another set of words to widen comprehension skill. In a word association activity, the teacher gives a familiar word and pupils respond with a related word from the days section of the words. Like for example, if we are teaching, if I am teaching now teaching profession, I can get the word teaching and I will let my students as the preliminary activity to associate another set of words from the main word, which is teaching. Tests of word association suggest the ability to connect meanings between words, which is related to both the size of the pupil's vocabulary and their general language ability. This should make sense. If a child has a strong vocabulary and language skills, then connecting words by meaning should be easy. So what are the different words that we can associate with the word teaching? So there are lots and it varies. So in that way, the more words, the better. No? So of course, this also highlights one possible shortcoming with the teaching vocabulary, the word association. Weaker readers or pupils who lack language skills will find this activity difficult. But it can widen vocabulary comprehension. Without enough vocabulary to support, no, dili kayo siya recognize sa meaning, sa word, no, of new words, children may not be able to complete that particular activity. So this is an example. So the word fair, the main word, which is associated with carnival, bazaar, slightly, comely, bony, reasonable, fairish, just, clean, honest, middling, mediocre, average, funfair, or carnival. So that is an example of an activity under this particular strategy. This activity tends to be rather boring too. Language researcher Paul Miara noted in 1980 that the most interesting thing about word associations are that they are not interesting. Teachers may notice this too. In many situations, pupil responses are more or less the same all the time. But you can have 5 groups with different, and each group will have different words, no, for word association. So to not to maintain or for boredom not to strike in the teaching learning process. Word association is a useful activity for most classes, but it may be helpful to use the strategy together with other techniques, not solely the word association as a main strategy. What are the different ways on how we can build words or we can widen vocabulary comprehension among our students? The reverse of structural analysis is an activity called a word builder. The teacher divides the class into small groups and assigns a root word to each group. Each group must find the 5 words that are built from their root word. So for example, if the root word is graph, the pupils may list photograph, autograph, graphics, and so forth. From this point, the activity can move in several different directions. Pupils can make sentences from their words out of the activity of building words, design posters to show their words as a group, illustrate their built words, or use magazines and newspaper cutouts, or give group presentations using the root word as the key term. Again, the bottom line is we have to use different strategies. As teachers, especially in the elementary, for beginning reading, for improving the vocabulary comprehension among our students, we use different strategies. Example, the word of the day practice, no, the word corner in the classroom. So even though the teacher is not having class inside the classroom, but students, the visual materials or the instructional materials actually still suggest learning. So now, word of the day. So what particular part of speech? It's a noun. What is the definition of the word? English campaign inside the classroom. Reading, a home reading report. So there are different strategies. So that is why teachers must be creative and innovative. One strategy under word builder is clusters. It is a variation in the word builder activity, which follows the same pattern as the original activity, but challenges pupils to show how the words are interrelated. So in this particular activity, it may be more useful to have larger groups and very common root words. A strong assignment for this activity is to show the cluster as a map. So this is an example of consonant clusters chart, which the teacher can use in the beginning reading session. Consonant clusters. The second is the clines. It's a last version, version of the activity is the word clines, but instead of relationship between the two root words, the assignment is to show words that show different degrees of meaning. This may be greater challenge for the teacher as well. It may be difficult to find keywords for this particular activity, and it also possible to assign graphic organizers with this lesson. As you might imagine, all of these activities are more appropriate for upper elementary or beyond. Again, so it is more of showing words that show different degrees of meaning. Like for example, mo na okay, the hot and cold. So warm, hot, burning, scorching, chilly, cold, freezing. So the degree of the word is used, and that is an example of an activity using word clines. The use of idioms and figures of speech is another strategy for word builders. As definitions, both idioms and figures of speech are expressions that native language users understand to have more than one meaning. So it's not the literal meaning, no? It's not the denotation, but it's the connotation. So it's not the literal, but it's the implied meaning. For example, American English speakers understand that the phrase kicked the bucket means died. Another example is the spilled beans, which means give away a secret to Americans, even if the actual meaning of the phrase is to accidentally pour out beans. So the meaning is not the denotation, but the connotation. So these are examples. Now, there are lots of examples for idioms that we can use to build words. And it's actually no in the not the literal level na, because we have to understand deeper the meaning of the words. So the figures of speech such as simile, metaphor, personification, alliteration, onomatopoeia, idioms, and hyperbole. So how do we teach vocabulary, especially in the elementary? The requirement is we have to have good foundation of the 5 critical skills, no? So, and again, vocabulary is one of the critical skills. So the previous sections describe specific techniques, strategies, and activities for including vocabulary in the classroom. These sections should give you the ideas for whole lessons that teach vocabulary specifically for any lesson that teaches vocabulary in part. So a lesson focused on vocabulary, how can you do that? How can you teach vocabulary or how can you deliver the goods in the TLP, in the actual teaching learning process? If we want to teach a lesson specifically on vocabulary, here is a 5-step design from classroom instruction that works, written by Marzano, Pickering, and Pollock. First, the teacher explains the new word. That's unlocking difficult terms. This is more than just reciting its definition, but the teachers, again, the first step is that the teacher explains new word. This is more than just reciting its definition. The teacher should give examples like giving synonyms, suggest images, and check prior knowledge of pupils. That is why for reading, no, usually the lesson exemplar, no, the lesson focused on reading, it starts with the pre-reading, that is the presentation of the material, and prior to the presentation is we unlock difficult terms before we do the actual reading, and after the actual reading is the post-reading. So in writing, that's the pre-writing, actual writing, and post-writing. In listening, we have the pre-listening, the actual listening, and the post-listening. For speaking, with the pre-speaking, actual speaking, and the post-speaking. So these are different the flow, no, when we teach the skills, no, in English. The teacher gives pupils a non-linguistic representation of the word, and this can be picture, symbol, a hand gesture, or a sound or a code. That's the second step. Third is the teacher gives pupils a chance to restate or explain the new word in their own words. This can be verbally or in writing. It could be in groups or individual. Fourth is the teacher will ask pupils to create their own non-linguistic representation of the word. Just like in step 2, pupils can use pictures, symbols, gestures, sounds, codes, or other forms of representing the word. And the last step is the teacher reminds pupils to check their explanations and representations. This is to be sure that the pupils are staying close to the actual meaning of the word and not wandering too far from the correct definition. Again, a lesson focused on vocabulary, the teacher will have to explain new word. That is unlocking difficult terms. Second is she will use non-linguistic representation like picture, symbol, hand gesture, or sound or code. Third is the teacher will have to give chance for students to restate or to explain new word in their own words. And the fourth is the pupils will have to create his or her own non-linguistic representation. And the fifth is feedbacking. So the teacher will have to give instruction for the students to check their explanation and representation if they have or if they stayed closer to the actual meaning of the word. What does it take to teach a word well? Vocabulary should be taught both explicitly and incidentally. So direct, and at the same time, there are actually insertion. It's incidental, but it has to be explicit. Repetition and multiple exposure are important for learning new vocabulary. Just like in math, where board exercises are very common. So we have to repeat. The teacher should be a good model for imitation. Learning how to construct vocabulary from rich directive context is valuable. Vocabulary learning tasks should be restructured when necessary. And the tasks should entail active engagement, and the explicit vocabulary instruction should address the use of definitions, context, and concept learning. It is very vital for elementary teachers to use different strategies to widen vocabulary comprehension skills among our students. Remember, the more students learn high utility words, the better they will be able to comprehend text that contains those words or similar ones. Thank you, everyone. And that ends our session. You have to visit fls.ctu.edu.ph for the capsulated notes and activity sheets for this particular part of our module in Unit 2, which is teaching strategies for the development of the literacy skills and teaching resources. Enjoy learning, everyone. Do not just rely with this discussion, but we have to be more specific, detailed, and creative as elementary teachers. Thank you, everyone, and good day.